Hi, I'm Dr. Shelley Meyer. Welcome back to my channel. On this channel, we talk about gut health, hormone health, and gene health. And today we're going to be talking about the connection between the gut and your skin, in particular gut health and acne. So a lot of people don't think about the fact that the gut can be connected to the skin, so we're going to dive into that today. But I'm Dr. Meyer. I'm Shelley Meyer. I'm a functional medicine physician, family physician, registered dietitian, and nutritionist. And if you haven't checked out our other videos, consider doing that. Consider subscribing and hit the bell notification to be notified when we post other videos. So let's talk about the gut. So the gut can be leaky, and we're going to talk more about that in another video, but the membranes in the gut are supposed to have this tight connection. And there can be insults and damages that can damage the membrane lining, and then we get what we call leaky gut. And when we have leaky gut, we can have bacteria and parasites and antigens all leak through that membrane, and therefore we don't have that protective barrier anymore. And whenever we have that leakage happening, we can then have huge amounts of inflammation, and that can show up as inflammation in our skin. So there's that connection that can go on there. So we don't want that leaky gut. We also don't want a processed, sugar-filled, processed food kind of diet, because that anything with a high glycemic index, meaning more of that turning into blood sugar in the body from the food that we eat, can then cause inflammation. So we want to think about what we put into our guts, what gets processed there, and how nutritious that food is, because that can then create inflammation as well. There's actually a study that showed that more processed foods, higher glycemic index, more processed foods led to cystic acne. So if you're dealing with cystic acne, you do want to think about the quality of your diet. The skin is our largest organ, so that is going to show our inflammation the quickest. So we really want to think about how that all relates. We can test your microbiome. I talked about that in my microbiome video, but we can talk about that more. We can test. The best way to do it is through a really gross way, and that's to test your poop. But we can tell a lot from your poop. You have to collect it at home and then send it off to usually a functional medicine lab company, and we use Genova, we use Diagnostic Solutions, GI Map, we use Doctor's Data. So there's a variety of great tests out there that can look at, are there parasites? Is there yeast overgrowth? Yeast overgrowth could happen from that leaky gut, and it can happen from the processed foods, from the sugars. Yeast loves to thrive on sugar. So yeast can be at the heart of a skin problem. And we can see all that when we look at the microbiome and we look at the balance and everything in those stool tests. We can also see the inflammatory markers in the gut. So I can often tell when I look at one of these tests if someone's gut is inflamed, and therefore that can spill over to inflammation throughout the body. And inflammation is such a slippery slope. It affects the heart and the skin. So not only what you look like, but your life expectancy and other kind of chronic illnesses. In diabetes can be affected by inflammation. So if we can get that inflammation under control, our skin doesn't only look better, our gut functions better, but so many other organs start to function better, and we can live a longer, healthier life. So that stool test can also show us inflammation and inflammatory markers in the stool. It can tell us about parasites, like I said, and sometimes if there's body's fighting an infection, there's a parasite infection, there's a huge amount of inflammation. And we can then hone in on individually what is going on in your microbiome to then hopefully improve not only your gut health, but your skin health. So that's one thing to think about, is getting your microbiome tested with a functional medicine provider or a naturopath if you're having skin issues. It's one of the first things we look at. Another thing we will advise our patients to do is to do some kind of an elimination diet. Often we see gluten as a trigger, we see dairy as a trigger, and of course we see sugar as a trigger. That's what we talked about before. So if we can cut those out either all together or one by one, we can see if those are the triggers for our skin problems. So if you're going to do it one by one, it's going to take longer, and you would want to do at least 21 days, preferably 30 days, for each thing that you cut out. So therefore you're looking at like a 3-month period. If you wanted to do something that would like be similar to the Whole30 plan, where you cut out all of these gluten, dairy, sugar, the inflammatory foods all at once, then you could do all 3 of them at once for 21 to 30 days, and then add 1 back at a time. Usually you want to give it a few days, so like 1 back each week, 1 group, and then see what your triggers might be. If that doesn't yield anything, or you're still needing more guidance, then you can see a functional medicine provider, a functional nutritionist, and or functional medicine physician, and we can help you do a more detailed kind of elimination diet, or do some food allergy testing. That's another option. That's a blood test, not a stool test, and we can check for allergens that may be causing issues in you. Another thing to think about is probiotics. So getting probiotics in your diet, I talked about that in the top 5 foods video for the healthy microbiome. So you can get probiotics in food. You can get probiotics, a variety of strains in sauerkraut, kimchi. Those are the lowest sugar options. If you're looking at kombucha or kefir, however you want to pronounce it, you want to look at ones that are lower in sugar. So definitely read your labels when you're buying those products and making sure you're choosing the ones that are lower in sugar. Of course, they're not going to taste as yummy, but then you're not counteracting that whole probiotic effect with the sugar that creates inflammation. You can also think about doing some supplements that can help repair that gut lining, like we talked about. So not only eliminating the triggers, but then we want to repair the lining. So that could be L-Glutamine is one we use quite often. Glutathione we even use for repairing the gut lining. Coconut oil sometimes. We use aloe and turmeric blends to help repair that gut lining. And then back to the probiotics, you can take probiotic, you don't have to eat them only in food. You can take a targeted probiotic supplement. And the strains that have been tested to be the best against acne would be Lactobacillus Paracasei, so Paracasei. It's one that has been studied in acne, and just Lactobacillus strains in general. So if you look at the bottle and you see a lot of different Lactobacillus, then that's usually a good option for skin health. And Bifidus is one that's good for skin health. And then Bacillus Coagulans, so Bacillus, and then Coagulans, so Bacillus Coagulans, another strain that has been really beneficial for repairing the skin. And some people are using probiotics topically, like a Greek yogurt kind of face mask. So that's been helpful for a lot of folks too. And it's, just putting your food on your face, basically. Fiber is another great option to help repair your gut and then therefore repair your skin. And in my other video, I discussed the top 5 foods for microbiomes. I discussed what prebiotics are. And those are really healthy fibers, like things you would get from flaxseed or jicama or asparagus, from high fiber vegetables too, and then chicory root. Some people are drinking chicory root coffee, and that gives you a lot of good prebiotics. So if you're combining those, also green bananas and green potatoes, so weird, but not good tasting, but low in sugar and then higher in that fiber. So if you took a little bit of those and you combined them with a probiotic supplement, then those prebiotics and probiotics kind of work synergistically, and you get even better oomph for your gut repair right there. Other things to think about, some people will use bone broth diets where they drink more bone broth and then you get the collagen, and then you can take a collagen supplement as well to help with your health, your skin and gut health. And then finally, omega-3s are very important for skin health. So they help control that inflammation that we were talking about. And usually we'll shoot for a goal of EPA plus DHA. Those are the ingredients you see on the label. Read your label for your omega-3s and look at your EPA and DHA. And try to get that total to be at least 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams. Unless you're having some kind of bleeding disorder, then you want to discuss that with your doctor. And then a good multivitamin that has good, or just an antioxidant vitamin that has vitamin A, C, and E. In the vitamin A, you want to get mixed with carotenoids and retinol. And then the vitamin E, you want to get mixed tocopherols in that supplement. So those are some ways to help repair the skin, help repair the gut, and get those systems kind of working together to be healthier. Check out our other videos on gut health and hormone health and how your genes interact with that. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you liked this video, and hit the subscribe and bell notification so you're subscribed to our channel if you like the topics that we're discussing. I would love for you to comment below and let me know what you're interested in learning more about, or any comments or questions you have on this video. And then we post videos every Thursday. I'm Dr. Shelley Meyer, and if you're interested in learning more about functional medicine, check out the description with this video, and that tells about the services that my practice does, and then just you can look at our website to see what functional medicine is, and perhaps contact us for virtual or in-person visits, or contact a functional medicine provider in your community. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you soon.